Thanks for tuning in to Cox Connections here on Cox 9. Virginia is home to more active military and their families than any other state. And when service members know that their families are being cared for back home, they're able to perform their best. Military Family Support Center provides the support that a family needs when a loved one is deployed or returning home. Military Family Support Center's President and CEO, Roger Talmadge, and Center Director, Jerry Brittain, join me today to tell us more about this great organization. Thank you both for being on the show.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about military support families, your mission, the vision.
Essentially what we try to do is compensate for the facilities and services that the 2/3 of the people in the military that are anywhere there's a base.
Mm-hmm.
People have forgotten that, you know, if you were around a base, you need food, you go across to the commissary.
Mm-hmm.
What if you're Roanoke, Virginia, and the closest commissary is 4 hours away? What do they do?
Mm-hmm.
So what we try to do, it's not charity in a sense, and that all we're trying to do is compensate what they should have in the first place.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. How did the organization, what's the history of the organization? How did it get started?
Well, it actually started in 2004, and it was finally officially opened and authenticated as a nonprofit organization by the IRS in August of 2005, and its main purpose is to serve America's military families. Doesn't matter where they are. We started with the National Guard, then the Federal Forces, and of course the active duty forces are out here. 67% of America's military families are in the rural areas.
Right.
That's our focus.
Okay. And so for this, for the center here, what is your service area?
Essentially, on a regular time is essentially from, say, Lynchburg to Cumberland Gap.
Wow.
Beyond that, we have worked with clients in Indiana, California, Texas, Germany.
So no limits.
No.
Really no limits. Just if someone needs
we also
help.
I guess you could say we have all of I-81 because we come out of Winchester also.
Okay. Okay, good. And then what, I know you mentioned a little bit about food, Jerry, but what other services do you provide to these wonderful men and women and their families?
Now, outside of from the families themselves, you know, we have, you know, if you're around a base, an illegal problem, you go across the street to JAG. Well, there's no JAG close to here.
Right.
So we have lawyers that volunteer to become their JAG for them. We have mechanics and plumbers, electricians. Last thing in the world from my standpoint, I don't want some guy in the middle of a firefight worrying about their family's refrigerator isn't going to work because that'll get him killed.
That's right. That's right.
So we provide services. In addition to that, when we have the military family days or when they're getting ready to deployed, they do feed the soldiers, but they don't feed their families. So we cover those for them. We help them with their family days.
That's great. So who's eligible, Roger, for these services?
Yeah, anybody that has been on or is on active duty right now.
Okay.
So that means that a National Guardsman might be overseas someplace, or might be deployed along the Mexican border, or might be with disaster relief in California. We do a lot of firefighting out that way with the fire department and some of our militia. But at the same time, when they come back, they're in a reduced state of readiness and they're in training. So we consider that active duty.
Okay.
Same is true with the Federal Reserve. We have thousands of reservists, and so we're looking after their families even now.
Okay, all right. And people, you know, the men and women can be deployed multiple times.
Yes.
So I'm sure that has an impact on the organization.
Well, it's become a tremendous effect on us. Used to be the National Guard was, you know, for emergencies, for fire, floods, everything. Now it's become it's become a National Guard. These guys are going 5 and 6 tours. I've met 2 guys been on 9 tours, and the times of them used to be like if the Marines went out, they used to be 6 or 9 months. Just a couple months ago, we had a bunch of deployed out for 400 days.
Wow.
Surprise.
And with all those is added with that, when these guys come back, we're having a lot more problems with PTS and that because the stress, A lot of these guys just can't handle keepingly going out.
Right,
Okay.
right. PTSD and post-traumatic syndrome,
no,
right?
right.
Okay, yeah. And it's not just the families when they're deployed that you're helping, but when these men and women are coming back and trying to get settled back into the environment, you assist with that as well. Is that correct?
We stick with them, and if they stay in their active mode with their reserve or National Guard unit, we'll stick with them as long as they're active in their in that service. Otherwise, we have about a 6-month window that we look at, and then we're completed.
Okay, all right.
Our client base is not just, as with Roger talked about with the active military, but also if they're parts of the Virginia Wounded Warrior program. If they're in that program, they're clients until they're well.
Oh, great.
And we also, and I don't want any of them, but we do, we have some, if they're killed in action, then they're our clients forever.
Okay, their families
A
are.
lifetime.
Okay, that's great. And then what is the best way for these families to get in touch with your organization if they need help, or for the men and women in service if they know that they need help for their families? How do they get in touch with the organization?
Well, one of the things they can do is call.
Okay.
And of course, we encourage them to come by. And then there's certain documents, 1 or 2, that we require. It's not a lot of paperwork. It's done in about 7.5 minutes, I think. And we get the family registered, and then they get support.
Okay. And we're going to have that number as well as your website for our viewers. And
Yes.
and Roger, I know early on you were sharing with me a great story, and all of those things, where it's not just about the families calling for help, but you need people to help. You need volunteers, you need money. There's so much going on, and you need all of that. And so we encourage the viewers to go check out the website and to give you a call if they'd like to help out. So. Thank you so much for being on the show. We so appreciate what you're doing for our servicemen and women.
Thank you so much for having us.
All right, thank you. And thank you for watching Cox Connections. Before you go, I want to personally thank you for choosing Cox Communications for your entertainment, information, and communication needs. We know you could have chosen another provider, but because you chose us, we promise to provide you with quality products backed up by a talented local team of professionals. I'm Kim Stanley, and I'll see you next time on Cox Connections.